If you're new here, hi. We're Grace and Luca, the Dolmans. We are underwater filmmakers and Spiros, which basically means we hold our breath, dive over 100 feet to the bottom of the ocean to catch dinner, and film everything. We want to live in a way that's simple, intentional, and free. It's not just about travel, it's about self-sufficiency. Catching our own food, generating our own power, and living with only what we truly need in the most remote corners of the world. We're building a life centered around exploration, resilience, and connection. To the ocean, to each other, and to a slower, more honest way of living.
Hour 19, 1 mile off the coast of Point Loma. It's pitch black. I haven't slept in 24 hours. There's a Coast Guard helicopter doing a flyover as we round into San Diego Harbor, and I'm fairly sure it's not for us, but I'm too tired to completely rule it out. This is a delivery trip. 120 miles from Marina del Rey to San Diego on a beautiful Dufour 37, shot entirely on a GoPro and an iPhone because Grace has the R5. And Grace, well, she's got a wedding to shoot tomorrow. Oh! Let's go back to the beginning. And by the beginning, I mean 1:30 a.m., which is when we stopped fixing things and started pretending to sleep. My buddy Tom is a delivery captain and a yacht broker. Beauty! He's moving this Dufour 37 from Marina del Rey down to San Diego to be put in the San Diego Boat Show coming up next week. He rang me up yesterday and invited me along, and I said yes before he even finished his sentence. The plan was simple. We drove 2 hours up from San Diego to stay the night on the boat, run our pre-departure checks, go to bed nice and early, and be well rested for a 4 a.m. departure, arriving in San Diego before dinner. Here's a quick view of the foredeck. We got the furling jib. That's my cabin down there. You'd be surprised by how cool these hatches keep you. We got the mast. I believe the keel step mast. Beautiful sails, got your rigging. Sick boat. Got the cockpit here, the beautiful teak. 2 helm stations. All your running rigging comes back into the cockpit, and then you enter this beautiful galley here. The aft cabin. So much room for a 37. Nice gimbling stove. We got one head here. It's a wet head, but it's still pretty rad. Look how much space you have in here. Like, I'm 6'4" and I got choke head space here, man. This is sick. And then this is where I'm sleeping tonight. To be honest with you, I thought I was sleeping in the cockpit, but I get the master room. Yeah, so we're waking up 4 a.m. Gonna skedaddle out of here. Doesn't look like much wind tomorrow, so I think we'll be motoring for the majority of the trip, but super stoked. This is gonna be sick. We just had to fill up the engine with some oil. Learning lots and learning quickly. Grateful for the opportunity and stoked to be here. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. We're up early tomorrow, but I'll catch you guys in the morning when we're dropping those dock lines, man. Let's get it. Missy Gracie, wish you were here. So we're just doing our pre-night checks, and we've got 2 boats sitting on the bow. What's going on here? We gotta figure this out.
Dinghies that have us blocked into the slip, period. Any idea who they belong to?
So in our nightly checks, we've found these 2 dinghies that we don't know who belongs to, as well as this anchor. We're gonna ease it out and then make sure it comes back nice and untwisted. Somebody messed this one up bad, cool. You gotta move it around. Having some problems getting the anchor winch to work. The anchor is now permanently committed to its current position. Alright, so these guys parked their dinghies right in front of our boat. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get that dinghy on the opposite side of this super nice yacht. What? The plan is, I think I'm gonna tie it to this gonna hop up there. This is in the same dealer as when we're on, so it's all good. I'm gonna jump this, run it around, walk this boat slowly onto that side, tie it up again, and then walk to the other side and bring it over. Okay, I got this line attached. I'm gonna run, get up on this one. Jump in the line. Walk this boat. Around just like I'm walking a dog. I have to put the phone away. I can't believe that worked. Let's go. Alright, so I managed to kind of rig this up on the other side of this massive yacht. Welcome to yachting day one. Let's go. First problem, crisis averted. The pre-departure checks took care of the easy part.
It looks low to me.
The engine oil was low, not dangerously low, but low enough that you make a note and keep checking. A random water pump kept cycling on and off by itself. Nobody asked it to, nobody knows why, but it definitely wasn't a confidence builder. By the time we dealt with all of this, it was 1:30 in the morning. We set the alarm for 4 a.m. and called it a night. And by night, I mean I laid down for 90 minutes with my eyes closed, wondering if the water pump was going to flood the bilge. Both Tom and I couldn't really sleep. So when I went to go to the bathroom at 2:30, we both agreed let's just get this show on the road. The lines were off, and this party had officially started. Leaving the dock in the middle of the night was quite the trip. No one else is awake, and all the boats are dark, and it kind of felt like we had just pulled off a massive heist and stole this boat. The marina is completely silent except for us. We cleared the breakwater, and I looked back at the coastline of LA as they stretched out behind us like a circuit board, and ahead of us, nothing. Just dark water and the compass heading, and whatever the next 19 hours were going to be. Immediately upon leaving the breakwater, we engaged the autopilot. And the autopilot said, "Not today, brother." The display powered on, accepted the heading, and then did absolutely nothing. The helm stayed dead. Tom checked the connections, cycled the breaker, and tried again. Nothing. The autopilot on this Dufour 37 had decided that its last active service was going to be before our trip, not during it, which meant I was hand steering, in fog, at 4 in the morning. On my first time ever at the helm of a monohull, using the COG line on the chop plotter as my only reference because I couldn't see the horizon, the bow, or even my own hands. First time driving a sailboat. And I loved it. I know that sounds insane, but the feel of a fin keel through a wheel, the weight of it, the way a heavy monohull resists the rudder and then commits to the turn like a decision it thought about first. That was something I will carry for a very long time. Alright, good morning everybody. I'm driving my first sailboat. We're on a 437 like I mentioned yesterday. Had about an hour's sleep. We left a little bit earlier. We left around 3:30 this morning. Marina del Rey, heading down to San Diego. Just wanted to share this with you guys. This is actually my first time at the helm of a sailboat. We're just trying to figure out the autopilot right now. Should be good to go. Alright, so I'm keeping a COG of about 170 degrees right now. Running it at around 2400 RPM, moving about 6 knots. Even though I was stoked on the opportunity to be managing the helm of my first sailboat, I could see that this could turn into quite the challenge if hand steering was required for an extended period of time. So I was thrilled when Tom yelled up and said that he was able to engage the autopilot. Beautiful sunrise heading down to San Diego, behind the clouds.
I mean, why am I even going to take that picture? What am I ever going to do with it? Look at it again. Oh, look. I guess if I'm posting it or something.
This would still look good. It's definitely a little bit cold out here, but not a lot of wind. Just motoring along, trucking along, kicking off those miles, baby. Let's get it. We estimated this trip would take about 14 hours if we cruised around 7 knots. I now know the math was a little optimistic. We're just about to pull into a marina in Long Beach, top up with some fuel. Pretty uneventful trip so far, but that's how we want it. So we just made our first fuel stop. Getting those tanks topped up.
We don't want to run out. That's just not fun.
We're about a quarter of the way down the passage. A little animal update. I've seen 3 sea lions, a lot of pelicans. By the way, we have a little bit of a pelican story. Grace and I were flying well, first of all, we tried to go shore dive down on the Hoya, but the conditions were super murked out and it was a big swell, so we just decided to fly the drone and try to get some B-roll footage. And we were flying the drone, and like 100 feet from shore, I'm bringing it back, and this pelican just comes out of nowhere and smokes the drone. And the drone just did a little spiral of death and ended up at the bottom of the ocean. Grace and I are heartbroken, but what terrible luck that is. It's pretty funny that we've been filming some of these pelicans and they decided to get their revenge. But we laugh about it now, it's pretty funny. So if anybody is selling a drone, please let us know in the comment section. But I've learned a good way to pass time on passages is to tie some knots. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys a few of my favorite knots. First one up is we got the Alaskan Alpine hitch. This is a pretty rad knot. You get 2 bites here, and you have this loop. So what I would do is I would take this tag end, run it through something, and then I can use this as this loop as a little, kind of like a block, a little lever to give me some extra leverage, make this line super tight. So I'm use it for strapping it down. Okay, so what's good about the Alpine hitch is that it's super easy to get undone. You just break these bites and the whole knot comes right apart. And you've got your line. Next up, you have the bowline, or the sailor's knot. This knot is super simple. Take that half loop, keep your tag end through, around, and back. There's your bowline. Why it's good is that it'll never lock up as long as it's got no tension. So you just break this bite and the whole knot will come apart. This knot will not come undone under tension. This knot will not come undone under tension. So that's its only flaw. But when it's slacked off, easy to come undone. Pop that tag end out. You got your line. Those are my 2 favorite knots that I like to use while on a sailboat. The ocean was an absolute parking lot, complete glass off, and with no breeze, we were relying solely on the engine. There was a bit of swell, and the problem with motoring and swell with no sails up is the boom. With nothing holding it in position, the boom swings with every roll, back and forth, banging into the rigging, loading up on one side, slamming to the other. On a passage, that's not just annoying, it could actually be dangerous. An uncontrolled jibe in heavy weather can easily take someone's life, and even in calm conditions, the constant slamming is definitely going to damage something eventually. This boat doesn't have a traveler, which is the track on the cockpit sole that normally controls the boom's lateral position, so we needed a preventer. A preventer is a line that runs from the boom forward to a point on the deck ahead of the mast, holding the boom fixed to one side so it can't swing. Tom tied a bowline to the middle of the boom. It creates a fixed loop that won't slip, won't jam, and can be untied even after being heavily loaded. Every sailor learns it first and uses it forever. We ran the line to the midships cleat, ran it under the cleat, then tied an Alpine hitch in the middle of the line for purchase. This whole trip I've been looking for a nice comfortable spot while still being able to keep watching. I think I just found it. So what I've done is I've taken the cushion, laid it up here against the little brace point. I get my head right here, and then I flip the camera around, and I got perfect view, 90-degree view, everything going on. Might have to conk out here for like 20 minutes though. Boy's tired. Like an hour of sleep last night. We were getting the boat ready. Had a little bit of some shenanigans going on with some dinghies docked in front of us, and the anchor was all messed up. Couldn't figure out the windlass. So my boy's tired. Might need a few minutes to shut eye here. We have been becalmed. The ocean is super glassy, but no worries because we got fuel. Thinking 2 steps ahead. Look, check this out. It's pretty interesting. We were just talking about how I have to kind of switch my mindset a little bit because as a fisherman, seeing this being so becalmed and having it being so glassy, the surface of the water just like oil, I'm normally frothing over that, but as a sailor, you kind of want some of that wind, right? So it's definitely a little bit of an interesting mindset change that I'm gonna have to make here. Somewhere around hour 6, we saw sardines working the surface. Proper bust up. And if you're a spear fisherman, seeing bait on the surface is like seeing smoke.
So cool.
You know there are bigger things underneath. I had no mask, no fins, no spear gun. I had a GoPro on a stick and an overwhelming sense of FOMO. 19 hours at sea teaches you patience in a way that a Wednesday evening race cannot. A race is 45 minutes of constant action. A passage is hours of nothing interrupted by moments of everything. And the nothing is where you learn. The nothing is where the reading becomes understanding. First time at the helm of a sailboat, man. This is so sick. Gracie, we need to do this as our life. This is gonna be so much fun. This is just so amazing. What an experience. And this is completely changing what I'm thinking. Our whole plan is like, this is a 37-foot boat, and I mean, I hope you can see like the space in there. It's just crazy how much you can fit into such a compact package. But just like the Pardis said, go small and go now, and I think that's kind of really resonating with me at this very moment. I just want to buy a boat and get out there, man. This is so freeing being out here, just yourself in nature. It's a beautiful feeling. Got here, we got a little Jersey Mike's sandwich. Got myself a water. Life is good. Nothing like having a Sandy on the water. So it's a quick time check for you guys. It's now 15 minutes to 12. We've been out here for around 7 hours. I think we're about maybe 40% of the way there. It's been an incredibly smooth motor sail so far. We haven't had the opportunity yet to get the sails up, but having the absolute time of my life on this thing. I'm having such an amazing experience. So grateful to Tom for inviting me on this trip. The sun is finally trying to poke out. Burning off that marine layer. Still no wind though. So we are happily motoring away. Slowly getting to our destination. So, today would have been a great day to go fishing. My goodness. Hour 8 or 9. I don't really remember exactly. Finally, the wind came. I don't know if you could actually call it a breeze. Maybe 9 knots of pressure, about 30 degrees off the bow. But Tom looked at me and said, let's get some sail up. The main went up super clean, no drama. Halyard to the winch, grind it up, set the clutch. The mainsail filled and immediately the boat felt different. More alive, more balanced, and a heel giving the hull the direction it had been missing under motor. Then the jib. So for anyone who hasn't sailed, the jib is the head sail.
Yes, sir.
It lives at the front of the boat, rolled up on the forestay.
Okay, ready?
The sheet is the line that controls it, that blue line here. It connects to the clew, which is the aft lower corner of the sail. There's a working sheet on the loaded side and a lazy sheet on the other side, ready for when you tack. Tom gave me the sheet. I pulled it by hand first. The sail starts to unfurl and the load is light, so you pull arm over arm until the sail is about halfway out. Then the wind catches it properly and the load jumps. That's when you add wraps to the winch. 3 to 4 wraps for a working sail, and start grinding. The jib went from a flapping mess to a smooth airfoil, and the boat starts accelerating under a force that isn't an engine. We're sailing. I know how that sounds. It's just 4 syllables. But after 9 hours of motoring, 90 minutes of sleep, a dead and fixed autopilot, a jammed windlass, and footage shot on a GoPro taped to a lifeline stanchion, those 4 syllables were the whole trip. Everything I've been studying, everything Grace and I have been saving for, everything the channel is building towards. It's all reduced to this. The wind fills the sail and the boat moves and you're sailing. That's it. That's our dream. At some point I went below and I found the galley, and I stood there in this tiny little kitchen on this monohull that isn't mine, and I saw it. I could see Grace filleting a doggy on this counter. I can't wait until that's our life. On the transom of this boat, there's a sneaky little compartment housing a griddle and a sink. And my first thought was, how do I get 300 grand to buy this boat? Tip of the cap to the Dufour designers. I gotta figure out a way to install this on our future boat.
It's got a little sink and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hot water.
Wow. Alright, it's 6:05. We're about 2 hours away from San Diego. It's been a long day, but a very uneventful one, so that's always good news. Stoked we got to get the sail up a little bit. That was super fun, learning lots, and we got this beautiful little sunset that's trying to poke through now.
Hour 15. We've been sailing for about 6 hours now. The wind is steady, the boat is balanced, and I'm at the helm feeling approximately 7% like a real sailor. When Tom says, look at the water. A great white, swimming past the port side. It'll be 15 feet from the hull. Dorsal and pec fin, the full unmistakable silhouette of an animal I've spent the last 4 months trying to film underwater. And I did not get the camera out in time. The greatest underwater photography failure of my life happened on top of the water. The irony could power a small city. I'm still processing the shark when Tom taps my shoulder again, and I look up to the ocean doing this. Bait ball, and not a small one. A full pelagic feeding event. The surface is being shredded. There are dolphins,
What a way to end
multiple
the day.
species, tearing through the bait from every direction. There are what we believe to be 2 gray whales pushing through the edge of it. There's a baby mako circling the outside of the ball.
We got dolphins, we got whales, right, all in this bait ball.
And above everything, birds. Hundreds of them. Diving, wheeling, screaming, the full pandemonium of an ocean that is feeding itself in real time.
This is insane.
And I'm just standing there on this deck of a sailboat with an iPhone, watching all of this happen with no mask, no fins, no spear gun, no big camera rig, and no drone. The most spectacular marine event that I've witnessed in California, and my best available camera is the same one that I used to check the weather. I'll be honest, I was looking for bluefin.
Where's the tuna?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. They're just spearing in there, man. Unbelievable.
Look at that. Where's my spear gun?
Because if there was bluefin tuna hitting that bust up while I stood on that boat with no gear, I would have had to seriously reevaluate every decision that led me to this moment. Thank God there were no bluefin. But standing there, watching dolphins work a bait ball, while gray whales cruised underneath and a baby mako hunted the edges, I remember why all of it mattered. The 3 a.m. departure, the broken windlass, the no sleep, the savings account that is slowly, painfully climbing toward a number with a lot of zeros behind it.
We got dolphins.
This is why.
So it's just getting dark now. It's around 8:10. We've got an hour out from our port, and I just learned another very valuable lesson. We're not going to be taking down the mainsail at nighttime. We're in like perfect conditions where we have like 7 or 8 knots of wind, a little minimal swell, and that was hard. The boom was kind of swinging all over the place. We set up preventer. I got to do it this time. Stoked to get to finally use my knots. This is sick. Got the preventer all set up, but yeah, that was promise you. But look, we see land. Let's go. She's dark and she's stormy, but we see land. Almost there.
The sun went down around hour 16, and the ocean at night from a sailboat is a completely different experience than the ocean during the day. You lose visual references. It's complete trust in the BNG. The chart plotter, the depth sound, AAS showing commercial traffic that you should definitely stay away from. Every buoy light matters. Every kelpad is a potential prop wrap. And then Point Loma appeared, the bluff at the entrance to San Diego Harbor. I've seen Point Loma 1,000 times from shore. I've driven past it. I've actually dove it. But rounding it from the sea at 10 p.m. after 19 hours on a boat that I've known for 20, Point Loma looked like the most beautiful piece of land on earth.
20 hours later, we've made it to San Diego from Marina del Rey. Definitely not ideal coming in at dark. We handled it well. Smooth trip overall. That big bus stop was pretty rad. That was crazy. But yeah, wow, what a day.
And then, just to top it all off, a Coast Guard helicopter did a low flyover as we entered the harbor, just to make sure that the last 30 seconds of the trip were as cinematic as possible, on a frickin' GoPro.
Yeah.
Lines went on the dock at 11:15 p.m. 19 hours, 120 miles. I stood on the dock in San Diego, and I could still feel the boat moving under my feet, even though the ground was solid. Phantom heel. The ocean stays in your body after you leave it. The sea legs took hours to fade. I'm standing there, swaying slightly on a perfectly still dock. I thought I just sailed to San Diego. Definitely not well or expertly, but actually on a real boat, in the real ocean for 19 real hours.
She treated us well. Okay, we got in to the harbor at around 11:30 last night. Grace came and picked me up. Thank you so much, Gracie. And then we drove back and we got to the house at around, I think, 12:15. So definitely a long day. I was pretty tired. Hit the hay right away. Woke up nice and rested this morning, but man, what an experience. My first time being at the helm of a monohull, getting out of that breakwater yesterday morning was pretty insane. It was definitely kind of a full circle moment. I've been watching so much YouTube, reading so many books, but one thing that YouTube reading cannot buy you is time on the water, right? So thank you so much, Tom, for allowing me to get some proper time on the water. I learned so much. It's so different than when we were racing. The racing is great because you're forced to adapt to your situation, and there are so many maneuvers. I think like each race is like, we're doing over 12 maneuvers, but you only really learn the one specific job that you're doing. Whereas in cruising, I actually had time to like think through each thing. I was able to think, okay, this rope runs through this block and then it comes out through the mast and then comes down and attaches to this part of the sail and controls this part. Just being able to kind of think through and figure out the why behind why everything was going on or how everything was moving and working together. It was incredible. Just like, I can't explain enough how important that is for me to kind of get hands-on and be able to learn like in the actual doing of the act. So super grateful for Tom, man. Thank you so much for inviting me. What a beautiful boat that was. Definitely a little bit more of the condo cruiser kind of style, but regardless, still an unbelievable boat and definitely one that has a very specific use case. It's got a lot of room for a 37, beautiful interior. Sail's pretty nice, got a nice little motor on it, so an epic boat overall. Where are we in the savings? So I think we're roughly around maybe 28 to 30% of the way there. The meter is definitely moving in the right direction, but still a long way to go. Grace is grinding so hard for us. She's working on her photography and she's working still at the coffee shop. She's doing a bunch of weddings now. Unfortunately, no update yet on my immigration status. Still waiting for my work permit and my green card. But other than that, we're stoked, we're fired up, trying to bridge the gap between now sailing and spearfishing.
We're still spear fishermen at heart, don't you guys worry. But that's it for me, enough rambling. I know you guys probably missed Grace. She's gonna be back in on the next episode. Thank you guys for being here. My name's Luca, and you're watching the Dolmens. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.